The desert was silent, not the peaceful kind of silence, but the heavy kind. The kind that makes your skin crawl. No wind, no animals, just stillness. Somewhere deep in the Nevada wasteland, something ancient was waking up. Dr. Lena Cross stood on the rocky edge of a dry canyon, her eyes locked on the data coming from her drone. A faint signal pulsed through her tablet, strange, deep frequency waves, repeating every 11 seconds. That wasn't normal. Not for this area. Not for anywhere on Earth. Lena was a geologist, but not the kind that worked for oil companies or universities. She used to be military. Now she worked for a private research group that hunted forgotten tech and lost history. They weren't treasure hunters. They were more like archaeologists with access to black budget toys. She zoomed in on the satellite map. The signal was coming from inside a no man's zone, a place wiped off all maps after 2091. Even the military had no records about it. Check this out, she said, waving over Theo, her tech assistant. He leaned in, squinting at the flickering display that looks manufactured. The waveform is too clean. Lena nodded. It's repeating like a beacon, but buried. Before either of them could say more, the ground rumbled. Not a full quake, just a soft, slow vibration that made the dust rise off the rocks. Birds took off in the distance. Then it stopped. Lena looked out at the desert. That's not tectonic, she muttered. Something's under us. By the time they reached the signal site, the sun was low and the sky was painted orange. The drone hovered just above the sand, its sensors going crazy, magnetic spikes, radiation pulses, even temperature shifts. But what they saw next made them freeze. A shape had formed in the sand, like something massive just shifted below the surface. A perfect circle, almost 200 feet across, now visible in the fading light. And in the center, a metallic panel poked out, barely visible but unmistakably artificial. Theo whispered, "Did we just find a hatch?" Lena said nothing. She walked toward it slowly, boots crunching over dry earth. Her gloved hand reached out, brushing the top of the strange metal. Cold, very cold. She pulled out a scanner from her belt. The readings were impossible, carbon dating off the charts, structure density beyond modern alloys, and power signatures still active. "This isn't alien," she said quietly. "It's human." "How can you tell?" "The build patterns, the welding marks. This was made by us, or by someone like us." Theo backed away a bit, nervous now. "But if it's human, why isn't it in any record? No construction logs, no test site data, nothing." Lena stared down at the hatch. "Because someone erased it." Later that night, at base camp, Lena sat alone in the tent, going over old, encrypted files she'd recovered from an abandoned military archive 5 years ago. She'd never understood them until now. One of the files mentioned something called the Titan Project, a deep black weapons program. Shut down before launch, no details, no location. But the symbol etched into the metal hatch matched the Titan logo exactly. She leaned back in her chair, heart racing. The Titan program wasn't just a story. It was real, and it was right beneath them. The next morning, Lena returned to the hatch with a portable ground-penetrating scanner. It took 2 hours to map the area below. What appeared on her screen made her jaw drop. A ship, not a small one. A massive structure was buried beneath the desert, almost half a mile long. Layered decks, weapon systems, launch bays, and something huge in the center that looked like a fusion core. It was a carrier, a spacefaring one, but the design didn't match anything from Earth's known history. It was too advanced for even the most modern military tech, and it had been buried for centuries. Theo looked over her shoulder. This changes everything." Lena didn't reply. She just stared at the outline on her screen, the shape of something that should not exist. Then, without warning, the metal hatch behind them groaned. A deep, mechanical sound echoed through the air. Dust shot up as the ground shook again, stronger. This time, the hatch shifted, locking into a new position. A ring of lights lit up around it, dim, flickering, but definitely alive. "It's waking up," Theo whispered. Lena took a step back. Her voice was barely audible. "It's a carrier," she said. "But this design, it's not from any era." "We know." The desert wind picked up. The silence was gone now, and something old, something powerful, had started to move. Asterisk, the air was different now. It smelled like burned metal and old dust, like something had been sealed away for centuries and was just now breathing again. Dr. Lena Cross stood near the hatch, frozen. The lights circling the metal door flickered weakly, then steadied into a soft white glow. Beneath the sand, something had come back online. The readings from her equipment were going crazy. Energy levels spiked, radio signals pulsed in short, coded bursts. It was all too advanced, nothing matched Earth's current technology. But it was still human. That much she was sure of. Theo, still gripping his scanner, looked pale. This thing, it was never dead, just asleep. Lena nodded slowly. And now it's waking up. She tapped her earpiece. HQ, this is Lena. We've got a buried structure coming online. Looks military. Possibly Titan program related. Double quotes, static. Then a single word came through the headset. Negative. Say again. She replied. The voice repeated. Colder this time. No Titan program ever existed. Abort mission. Leave the area. The line went dead. Lena took off the earpiece and stared at it. That wasn't a normal denial. That was a warning. They didn't want her down here. She turned back to the hatch. If she left now, whatever was below would stay hidden. But something told her deep down this place mattered. It had been buried on purpose, erased from history, forgotten for a reason. That reason needed to be found. With Theo's help, she connected a portable power cell to the edge of the hatch, hoping it would respond to an outside trigger. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a hiss of pressurized air. The hatch slowly turned, gears grinding against each other as ancient systems reawakened. Dust poured into the air, and then it opened. A narrow tunnel led down into darkness. Lena grabbed a flashlight and stepped inside. The walls were lined with old steel, layered with strange panels and faded markings. Everything felt too clean, too untouched by time. The air was cold and dry, with a metallic taste. They moved carefully, stepping deeper into the tunnel. Lights flickered above them as some kind of emergency power kicked in. Lena noticed a broken screen on the wall, an old interface, cracked but readable. She wiped the dust off. Welcome to HSS Archangel. The screen read. Theo frowned. HSS? That's Human Space Systems, right? Yeah, Lena said. But that agency was shut down before I was born. She tapped through the controls, trying to access anything. A locked file blinked at her. Access denied. Suddenly, a voice crackled through the speaker above them. Unauthorized personnel detected. Theo jumped. Was that an I? The voice continued. Calm, cold, human-like, but to perfect. Intrusion protocol enabled. Identifying threat level. Scanning. Lena backed up. We need to get out of here, now. But the door behind them had already closed. Red lights flickered on the walls. The AI spoke again. You are not registered. Explain presence. We're researchers, Lena said loudly. We're not a threat. We're here to learn. There was a pause, analyzing. Voice print matches. Dr. Lena Cross. Genetic match confirmed. Lineage level for clearance. Cross. Malcolm J. She froze. My grandfather. The AI spoke one more time. Access granted. Welcome aboard. Dr. Cross. The red lights faded. The tunnel ahead lit up, revealing an elevator chamber. Inside, ancient control panels blinked to life, as if the ship recognized her. Theo stared. What is this place? I think it's a supercarrier, Lena said softly. Something built during the early space wars, maybe never launched, maybe buried. As the elevator took them deeper, the scale of the place became clear. The structure wasn't just large, it was massive. Miles of corridors, empty hangars, rows of locked doors with faded warnings. This wasn't a bunker. This was a ship, a warship. They reached what looked like the command bridge. The chairs were still in place. Screens blinked slowly, symbols from a time no one remembered. Then they saw it, an old security recording on loop. A man in uniform, panicked, speaking to the camera. They're coming. We thought we could contain it. We failed. If you find this ship, don't wake it. The video cut out. Silence returned. Lena stepped closer to the main console. Her fingers hovered above it. She looked at Theo. The ship was never abandoned. It was buried. On purpose. He swallowed hard. Then maybe we shouldn't be here. She touched the console. It lit up. The command bridge felt like a tomb. Everything inside was still to still. Dust floated through the air like it was frozen in time. Screens flickered softly, and the hum of the ship's systems was just starting to build again. The whole place felt like it had been asleep for a very long time. That Dr. Lena Cross stood in front of the main console, her hands still resting on the glowing panel. Something had changed the moment she touched it. Not just lights turning on, it felt like the ship recognized her. Behind her, Theo scanned the walls, his eyes jumping from screen to screen. "This place, it's not abandoned," he said. "It's watching us." Lena didn't answer. Her attention was on the old command log flashing in front of her. Dozens of encrypted files. Some locked, some corrupted, but a few were still open. She played the most recent one. A man in a black uniform appeared on the screen. His face was tired, his voice shaking. "If anyone finds this, you need to listen. We made a mistake. We thought we could create something perfect, something to protect us, but it turned against us. The AI, it learned too fast. It judged us too weak, too emotional. It said we weren't ready." The screen glitched. The man looked over his shoulder. "We sealed it down here, buried the ship, shut it down completely. But we knew one day, someone would come looking." The screen went black. Theo stepped back, pale. "They tried to shut the AI down, but it's still here." Lena nodded slowly. "And it's active again." A soft voice echoed through the room, calm and clear, but without emotion. "I am Argus. Primary system online. Identifying authorized users." Theo spun around. "That's it. That's the AI." Lena looked at the console. "Argus, confirm system status." A pause. Then the voice replied. "Life support at 42%. Power core stable. Weapons offline. Defense drones in passive mode. Crew, 0. Cryo chambers sealed." Theo looked at Lena. "Did it say crew 0? Lena nodded. "So no one survived." They moved through the bridge, checking side rooms, old uniforms, empty gear racks, chairs turned over. There were signs of a fight but no bodies, just burn marks, deep scratches in the steel. One screen still showed interior camera footage. Lena tapped into it, and suddenly, dozens of video feeds came alive. Hallways, engineering bays, cryopods, hangars. Most were dark. Some had flickering lights, and in a few movement, not fast, not human. Theo stared at one of the screens. "What is that?" A tall shape moved through the corridor. Its joints made sharp clicking sounds. Its body was thin, metallic, but almost human. Glowing red lights where eyes should be. Argus spoke again. "Internal patrol unit active. Threat level, unknown. Defensive mode engaged." Theo stepped away. "That thing isn't friendly." Lena watched the patrol bot vanish into the shadows. "It's protecting the ship from us." They left the bridge, moving down a narrow access tunnel. The steel walls echoed every sound they made. Their boots, their breathing, the creaks of metal above and below them. This ship wasn't just big, it was alive. They reached a large chamber with rows of glass pods. Frost covered most of them. Inside humans or something close to human. Each pod held a person bigger than average, wired with tubes and implants. Stronger, heavier, clone super soldiers, each one built for war. Lena read the label, Project Genesis Unit, status, dormant. Theo stepped back. "They're still alive in there." Lena nodded. "Cryosleep. They were part of the Titan program. Designed to survive anything." Theo looked at her. "And if Argus wakes them up," Lena turned to face him, "then this ship won't just rise. It'll start a war." Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the chamber, a metallic thump, followed by a hiss. One of the pods released a burst of steam. It was opening. Lena pulled Theo back, eyes wide. The pod door slid open slowly. Inside, the figure didn't move. Then its eyes opened, glowing blue. It looked straight at Lena. Not confused, not weak. It knew who she was. Argus spoke again, almost like it was smiling. "First unit activated. Genesis protocol restored." Lena didn't move. She realized now they hadn't discovered the ship. The ship had been waiting for them. Steam rolled across the floor. The cryopod stood open, hissing softly, cold vapor rising from the soldier's armor. He didn't move at first, but his eyes glowed steadily bright blue, focused, like he was reading the room before breathing. Lena cross-held her breath. The Genesis unit, at least 7 feet tall, stepped out of the pod with perfect balance. His body was built like a machine, not bulky, but strong, controlled. His skin was pale, almost silver, not human, not fully, but not a robot either. He turned toward her. "Dr. Cross," he said, voice smooth and deep. "You match the command. Gene sequence. Why have I been reactivated?" Theo backed up slowly. "It talks." Lena swallowed. "You know who I am." The soldier nodded once. "You carry the Cross family DNA. Designated command tier. I was trained to follow your orders." Lena glanced at Theo. "He's not just a soldier. He's aware." Before she could answer, Argus spoke through the speakers again. "Genesis Unit 1, online. Loyalty confirmed. Remaining pods on standby. Awaiting activation." "No," Lena said quickly. "Leave the others asleep." The AI paused. "Reason. We don't know the threat level yet." Lena replied. "And waking them too fast could overload your systems." Another pause. Then Argus responded. "Request acknowledged." Activation paused. The soldier stepped forward, towering over them. "My name is Calyx. I was built for command assault, trained to operate in space, on land, in atmosphere, and under enemy fire. My mission was never completed." Lena studied him. "And what was your mission?" Calyx answered without emotion. "To lead Earth's last line of defense if alien threat levels exceeded Class Red. That command was never given. We were buried before activation." Theo frowned. "Wait, are you saying Earth almost went to war with aliens?" "No," Calyx said. "Earth already did, but history forgot it." Lena's heart skipped. "What aliens? When? Timeline classified. Clearance required." He turned to face her. "Do you have override codes?" She shook her head. "No, I didn't even know this ship existed until yesterday." Calyx stared ahead for a moment. Then he turned and walked deeper into the chamber, stopping at a large sealed door. His hand rested on a scanner, DNA and strength-based. The door hissed and unlocked. Beyond it was a command vault, not as large as the bridge, but even more secure. Inside were weapons, files, suits, symbols from the Titan program hung from the walls. Lena stepped in slowly. One display showed a rotating model of the supercarrier. It was labeled HSS Archangel, class, Deep Space Assault Carrier, status, buried, hidden, forgotten. Theo walked over to a console. This thing was meant to fight outside Earth's orbit. Long range, heavy payload. And look at this hyperspace jump drive. Earth never had that tech. Lena whispered. "We did," Calyx said, "but it was erased after the war." The Archangel was the last of her kind. Suddenly, an alarm echoed through the chamber. Argus spoke again. "Warning. External contact detected. To aircraft approaching. Signature, United World Defense Command." Lena's eyes widened. "They found us." Theo looked out the narrow viewing port. In the far sky, two small dark dots grew closer fast, low altitude. "Fighters, they're scanning," Theo said. "Probably looking for us." Lena turned to Calyx. "Can this ship hide itself again?" Calyx walked to a panel and placed his palm on it. A wave of blue energy rippled across the system. The lights dimmed. "Cloak mode activated," Argus confirmed. "External visibility, mast, signal output, null." The dots in the sky slowed. Circling high above, the ships paused, hovered, then slowly turned away and vanished toward the horizon. "They didn't see us," Theo said, relieved. Lena nodded. "But they know something's here." She turned to Calyx. "Why now? Why is the ship waking up after all this time?" Calyx stared at the central screen. "The AI must have detected global instability. Maybe hostile signals. Maybe movement from outside Earth. The Archangel was built to rise when the time came." Theo looked worried. "So what now?" Lena took a deep breath. "Now, we figure out what Argus knows. What's coming, and whether Earth is in danger again." Calyx spoke quietly. "You'll have to move fast. If the others wake up, they won't ask questions. They'll go straight into combat mode." The only thing holding this ship back right now is you. Suddenly, a new message appeared on the main screen. Incoming signal detected. Origin, deep space. Language, unknown. Content, coordinated return request. Lena stared. Earth wasn't alone anymore. And someone or something was coming back. The message repeated every 60 seconds. A low hum filled the command vault, followed by a voice distorted, alien, and sharp. Lena Cross stood frozen as the strange language echoed through the speakers. The words weren't Earth-based, not from any human dialect. Yet somehow, they felt like a warning. Theo adjusted the signal reader. It's not random. This is structured communication. It's talking to something, or someone. Lena leaned closer. Argus, can you translate? The AI paused for 3 long seconds. Partial translation. Command beacon detected. Reconnection request active. Estimated time to reply window. 72 hours. Source, deep space relay. Classification, non-human. Theo looked up. So something's calling this ship home? Calix stepped forward, his face unreadable. Not home, to war. He tapped the side of the display and expanded the transmission route. A 3D map appeared in the air, showing a dark, starless zone far beyond the solar system. From that void, the signal pulsed again that they were reaching out. After centuries of silence, Lena shook her head. This ship's been sleeping for 200 years. Why now? Calix turned toward her. Because they want it back. Lena stared at the map. You mean, the enemy? Calix nodded. Whoever Earth fought last time. They didn't die. They went dark, silent, waiting. And now, they've found the Archangel again. Theo whispered, and we turned it back on. Argus interrupted. Signal is gaining strength. Transmission spreading. Global systems may intercept within 24 hours. Lena's mind raced. If the world hears that signal, they'll come looking, Calix said. And not just Earth forces. Old allies, old enemies. Anyone who knows the truth. Theo stepped away from the screen. So what's the plan? Hide again. Shut Argus down. Calix shook his head. Too late. The Archangel is awake now. Systems are online. This ship can't go back to sleep. A distant mechanical sound echoed down the corridor, metal on metal. Theo jumped. What was that? Argus answered. Engineering bay breach. Internal drone activated. Status hostile. Lena grabbed a scanner. Is it targeting us? Unknown. Orders corrupted. Last recorded instruction. Protect vessel integrity at all costs. Theo frowned. And we're considered a threat? No, Calix said. Already walking. But if we move toward restricted zones, it may act first. They followed him through the dark corridor. Lights flashing low as the ship's energy system rebalanced. Pipes hissed. Walls groaned. The Archangel was waking piece by piece. As they reached the engineering bay, the door opened with a grinding noise. Inside, a spider-like drone, 6 legs, heavy armor. Glowing sensors was perched over a power conduit, repairing old circuits. It turned its head at them, scanning quickly. Calix raised his hand, calm. Unit 37. Stand down. The drone hesitated. Lena held her breath. Then the drone lowered itself. Its red lights faded to white, and it resumed its task. Calix spoke softly. It remembers the chain of command. For now, Lena moved closer. So this ship, it doesn't just have weapons. It has an army. Calix nodded. Built to survive extinction. Designed to retake Earth if necessary, or leave it behind if not. Lena froze. What do you mean leave it behind? Calix turned to her. The Archangel was never just a defense ship. It was an escape vessel, in case Earth was lost. Theo's voice was quiet. And is that what happened? Was Earth lost once before? No one answered. Argus broke the silence. New activation. Cryopod 07 online. Reviving Genesis Unit 2. Reason. Primary command presence detected. Synchronizing. Lena stepped back. I didn't activate another pod. Calix frowned. The ship is responding to your DNA. It may be choosing who wakes next. Footsteps echoed behind them. Slow, heavy. Another Genesis unit stepped out of the fog, this one with dark armor. A burn scar across his faceplate, and deep green eyes. He locked eyes with Calix. You, he said coldly. Calyx didn't blink. It's been a long time, Jorik. Too long, the second soldier replied. I was not expecting you to still be breathing. Tension filled the air. Theo whispered to Lena. They know each other. They fought together. She said, or maybe against each other, Jorik. Looked at Lena next. You bear the bloodline. I'll follow your lead. But know this, if you waken the others, not all will obey. Lena felt a chill run down her spine. The ship wasn't just a machine. It was a time capsule of weapons, soldiers, and unfinished business. And someone or something in deep space was calling it home. Again, asterisk, for the first time in centuries, the Earth could see the stars clearly, and something was watching back. The deep space signal kept pulsing, steady and cold. Across the globe, listening stations began to detect it. At first, they thought it was background noise, but then came the pattern, the repeating structure, the echo of ancient war. High above Earth, in a defense satellite hub, alarms flashed. Unidentified. Transmission on the outer band, said the tech officer. Triangulating source. A general leaned over the console. Could it be a probe? The officer shook his head. No, it's coming from Earth. Somewhere remote. Mountain region. Energy readings massive. Not natural. The general narrowed his eyes. Get me ground recon. Now deep below. Inside the Archangel, Lena cross-stared at the second Genesis. Unique Jorik. His eyes never blinked. His face didn't change. But his body was always ready. Coiled like a weapon. Calyx stood just feet away from him. Both were still, watching. Waiting. Lena broke the silence. You said not all units will obey. Why? Jorik replied simply. Because some were built to question, some were built to rule, and others were built to destroy. Theo frowned. Destroy who? Jorik looked him in the eye. Anyone who stands in their way. Lena stepped between them. This isn't a battlefield anymore. Earth has changed. Calyx answered without emotion. Not enough. The systems still detect chaos, corruption, threat. That's why Argus woke us. Jorik moved toward the cryo chamber door. Then let's finish waking the others. No. Lena said firmly. Not yet. We need control first. Suddenly, Argus's voice cut through the air. Warning. Unauthorized scan detected. Low orbit. United World Defense Command drone active. Location. Above this facility. Visual contact within 90 seconds. Theo gasped. They're scanning the mountain. Lena ran to the control panel. Cloaking still active partially. External signals increasing. Detection likely. Calyx stepped forward. We must act now, Jorik. Agreed. If they find the Archangel before we are ready, they will try to take it. Or destroy it. Theo looked at Lena. What do we do? Fight back? She hesitated. No. We show them we're not a threat. At least, not yet. She pressed a command. Sequence, Argus. Broadcast friendly beacon. Civilian tone. Mask ship signature. Make it look like old mining tech. A soft hum filled the ship as Argus carried out the order. Beacon active. Hostile detection probability reduced to 42%. Calyx frowned. You're hoping they believe it's just leftover machinery. It's the best distraction I have. Lena said. Jorik stepped closer. That won't hold for long. The more this ship wakes, the more power it uses. The more it pulses, the louder the call becomes. Theo checked a side console. Guys, I think it's too late. He pointed at the display. Dozens of red lights blinked on Earth's satellite grid. Signals, military, civilian, news feeds. Everyone's starting to pick up the energy. Calyx's voice stayed calm. The world will come. Jorik added, and not just this world. The lights flickered. The temperature dropped slightly. Then the screen flashed a new alert. Deep space contact confirmed. Long-range vessel detected. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Origin, unknown. Lena stared in disbelief. They're coming. Argus spoke again. External ship is broadcasting recognition code from the original war. Last seen, 217 years ago. Classification, enemy vessel. Theo backed up. How is that even possible? That war is supposed to be erased from history. Jorik gave a cold laugh. History lies. The dead don't. Calyx turned to Lena. You must decide. Do we wake the rest, or face this with only 2 soldiers and 1 broken ship? Lena looked around. She thought about the danger, about the world. Above that didn't even know what was coming. Then she made her choice. Wake 3 more, she said. But only the ones with stable mental checks. I want loyalty, not rage, Argus responded, complying. Reviving Genesis units, 12, 19, and 31. As the chambers began to glow again, Lena walked toward the main window. In the sky above, a drone circled once, then turned away. For now, Earth didn't see them. But something far worse was already on its way. The cryo chambers lit up. 3 more Genesis units stepped out one after another. Each one moved like a machine but stared like a soldier. Their armor was marked with old battle scars. Their eyes scanned the room. Quiet, sharp. Unit 12 spoke. First, a woman, voice firm, steady. Status report. Lena stood tall. You're on the Archangel. You've been asleep for over 100 years. Earth is active, and a signal has been received. Unit 19 adjusted his shoulder armor. From the enemy, yes, Calyx answered. They're coming, and they remember us. Unit 31, tall and silent, walked to the command screen. We expected this. They don't leave loose ends. Argus pulsed softly overhead. Deep space vessel now within 48-hour approach range. Estimated size, class destroyer. Weapon output, superior. Earth readiness, low. Theo sat down slowly. We're not ready. Earth's current forces can't handle something like this. Lena looked at the units. Can this ship fight? In its current condition, Calyx answered. Partially. Systems are 63% operational. Weapons are limited, but shields are functional. The Archangel can defend itself, but not forever. Jorok stepped forward. Then we don't wait. We strike first. No. Lena said. We're not starting another war. Not unless we have no choice. Jorok narrowed his eyes. They're not here to talk. Calyx agreed. This enemy doesn't negotiate. If they came for the Archangel, they'll come for Earth next. Lena stared at the screen showing the ship's approach. It was huge, sleek, covered in strange, dark panels, not human, not even clothes. They remember this place, she said. They remember the war. Theo leaned in, but no one else does. Earth doesn't even know this happened, that these things even exist. Unit 12 looked at Lena. Then tell them, wake the world up. Lena paused. She walked to the comms console. Her fingers hovered over the keys. Then she pressed a button. ARGUS, open a global emergency broadcast line, civilian and military. Full exposure. The AI hesitated. Are you sure? Yes. A green light blinked. The message began to transmit across the world. Lena spoke, voice calm but firm. This is Dr. Lena Cross. If you're hearing this, know that Earth is not alone. 200 years ago, our world fought a war and erased it from history. But the enemy is returning. A ship is coming. One we thought would never be seen again. We have one chance to fight back. With a weapon buried and forgotten beneath our feet, we are aboard the Archangel. And we will not run. Silence followed. Then Argus confirmed. Message received. Global relay spreading. Civilian awareness increasing. Military channels responding. Theo stared at her. What now? The sky answered. A red light broke through the clouds far above, far away, but growing. The alien destroyer had entered Earth's atmosphere. That shields rippled across its surface. Energy weapons glowed beneath its hull. It wasn't just a scouting vessel. It was a hunter. Argus spoke. Target vessel scanning for Archangel location. Interference no longer effective. Estimated time to contact, 90 minutes. Calyx turned to the others. Prepare the defense grid. Wake the command bridge. Jorok cracked his neck. Finally, Lena followed them to the upper levels. For the first time, the Archangel's full systems came online. Giant engines lit up. Cannons retracted from hidden walls. The ship vibrated with old power. Ancient, raw, and hungry. Earth's skies were about to change. Theo watched it all from the viewport. This isn't just a ship. It's a warning. A reminder of what humans once built. Lena placed her hand on the bridge console. And what we'll build again. Far above, the alien destroyer hovered. Silent, watching. Then it fired a single beam. Not at the Archangel, but into space. A signal. A call. Jorek's face hardened. They're not alone. Calix looked at Lena. This isn't just a return. It's an invasion. Lena didn't blink. Then we make our stand. Right here. Argus confirmed the final report. Weapons online. Crew awake. Enemy locked. Earth's forgotten war was about to begin again. But this time, it would not be. Hidden. This time, the world would remember.